Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Jenny. If this is your first time in this channel, thank you for stopping by and feel free to join this supportive family. And thank you to my host subscribers for your support. I love you guys. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, like and share this video so that YouTube can keep on recommending it to those who may also want to learn from it. So today's video is the making of this dress. Let's get into it. Welcome again, soulmates. So these are the materials that will be needed for today's tutorial, and here with me I have these Tule nets. So I have 8 yards of it, but I've actually used from the length. So this is 8 yards, and I have this taffeta is 2 yards. So I also have my Ankara fabric, which is also known as African print. So I'll be making this dress for 2 kids. So each kid I'll be using 2 yards for each kid. And I also have the zipper I'll be using for them. As you can see, it's 2 zipper, and I also have my thread right here. So these are the measurements that will be needed for the 10 years old child. So to start with, we are going to cut out the flare first of all. So to get the flare length, just go ahead and subtract the half length from the gown length. And when I did it, it was 22.5. So you can see what I have right here, 22.5. So now I'm going to be adding a Tule net, and the length of that Tule net is 8 inches. So subtract 8 inches from 22 inches and I got 14.5. Then I added 1 inch stitching allowance to it, making 15.5, so approximately 16 inches. So for the radius, the waist of this child is 23, then I added 2 inches stitching allowance, making 25 inches. Then 25 inches, I'm going to divide it by 4 because we'll be folding our fabric into 4 places. So I got 6.25. Then 6.25 is supposed to be the radius, but I want to add a little pleat at the waist area, so I added extra 3 inches. So that gives me 9.25. So you can see it right here, 9.25. So therefore the radius now is 9.25. I've gone ahead to fold my fabric into 2 like this. Then after that, go ahead and fold it again, just like you see me doing. So you are going to have this square shape as it is right here. So right now, you can see the 2 closed edge and the 1 closed edge. So just go ahead and make a rough curve at that point. Then you can see I'm going to measure out the curve to see if it's actually 9.25, which is the radius we are working with. So it was not up to, so I went ahead to make another curve. Okay, see me doing it right here. So when I measured this curve, it was 9.5, but I can still work with it. It's because it's going to have a pleat. So I decided to leave it on that 9.5. So right now we are going to get the length. So the length we are working with is 16 inches. So I'm going to mark 16 inches right here, as you can see me doing all round. So guys, after marking the 16 inches round, you can see what I have. So I'm going to cut out the radius and also cut out the flare length. So guys, after cutting it out, you can see what we have. So when I opened it up, you can see a very round shape we have right here. So right now, I'm going to close it back like the way it was before. So you can see the flare effects. is already coming out. So I'm just going to open one side of it. So because we are going to be attaching our zipper to it, so we need to open one side. And when I opened it up, guys, this is what it looks like. So if you are using this as a skirt, you are going to go ahead and add your band. Now we are going to be cutting out the half length. We are going to be cutting out the top part. So guys, I fold my fabric into two, so just go ahead and fold it again. And make sure you leave about 2 inches or 1.5 inches for the zipper at the center back. So you can see what I did. So I'm just going to mark these parts like this. So right now, that part I marked out is the starting line. So you can see the close edge. So from the center of the front, go in by the shoulder measurements divided by 2 plus half inch. Then from that point, go down by half inch. Then after that, you go down by your armhole length. So after doing that, you also go down by your half length, then add 2 or 1.5 inches stitching allowance to it. So right now on the chest line, divide your bust measurement by 4. Then you are going to add 2 inches stitching allowance to it. So whatsoever you have at the shoulder point, just go ahead and place it on the chest line and curve out your armhole like this. So you can see what we have. For the neck width, I'll be using 2.5 because I don't want the neck width to be too wide. So I want to use 2.5. So for the neck depth for the front, I came down by 3 inches. So that is what I'll be using. So you can see what I have right there. So for the back, I came down by 1 inch. That is the neck depth for the back. So I came down by 1 inch. So at the waist area, just go ahead and divide the child waist circumference by 4 and add your 2 inches stitching allowance. Then you connect the points together like this. So guys, at the shoulder slope, I'm just going to connect it like this. So this is what we have. I'll go ahead and cut out the front neckline because the back neckline, I decided to use a V neckline instead of a round neckline at the back. So I will just cut out the front neckline and cut every other part. So guys, after cutting, this is what I have. So at that neck width, I'm just going to indicate it like this, make a point right there at the neck area. So when I remove the front, this is what the back is looking like. So like I said earlier, I'm going to be using a V neckline for the back. So from the shoulder, I came down by 6 inches. So you can go as low as 7 to 8 inches, but I decided to use 6 inches. So then just watch the way I'm going to connect this like this. So just watch out the way I'm going to connect this. So you can see how I connected it, and through the zipper allowance area you can see. So I'm just going to cut it off like this. So guys, after cutting it out, you can see what the back is looking like. So this is the 2 pieces for the back, the 2 panels for the back, and when I close up the zipper, you can see the V neckline is out already. So right now I've gone ahead to cut out my tulle, and the length of this tulle net is 8 inches. So I have 4 yards right here with me. Each of them is 2 yards. So I've gone ahead to cut out my lining for the panels, so you can see what the front and the back panels are looking like. And I've also gone ahead to cut out my belt, so you can see because it's going to have a belt. So now go ahead and stitch up this part and also this part, then leave that part open to turn it out to the right side. So right on the Ankara, I'm going to be adding an interfacing to give it a little bit of strength. And also I'm going to place my lining on the right side of my fabric, then go ahead and stitch up the neckline, the sides. The armhole should be left open and also the down part. So coming to the back, I'm also going to do the same to stitch up the neckline this way, like this, just like this. Then you go all the way down. So for the Tule net, I'm going to gather it up. So guys, I've also gone ahead to cut out this lining for the flare. So, and is 1 inch shorter than the main fabric. Then after turning with my lining, you can see what I have. I've gone ahead to make notches at the neckline. And you can see the back panel. I'm also going to notch it so that by the time I turn it to the right side, it will relax properly. So I'm just going to turn it to the right side. So guys, I'm going to give this a very good press, but you can see what the two panels at the back is looking like. So after that, I'm going to place it on each other, then sew down the zipper area. So guys, I've gone ahead to stitch down the zip allowance. So right now I'm going to place the front panel on the back, right side facing, and stitch up the shoulder area just like you see me doing. So just go ahead and stitch up the shoulders together with your lining. After doing that, I'm also going to be closing down the side. But before closing down the side, I'm going to attach my belt on it. So just watch the way I'm going to do this. So just go ahead and place your belt like you see me doing, like this, so you can see what I have. So I'm also going to be placing the other one just like this. So just place it this way. So after that, you're going to place the front piece on them and stitch it up with the bust measurement and the waist measurements. I've gone ahead to stitch up the sides as I said earlier, and you can see what the belt is looking like. Look at the front and the back. So you can see how beautiful it is. So I'm just going to turn it to the wrong side. So you can see what the wrong side is also looking like. Very neat. So right now we are going to be trimming off the half length. So remember, we added stitching allowance at the half length, so we are going to be trimming off the excess that is left. So I went down from the shoulder by the child half length, which is 12.5. Then I added 1 inch for stitching allowance because we'll be adding the flare part to the top part. So I added ½ inch stitching allowance, making 13 inches. Then I went ahead to cut it out. So guys, after cutting it out, right now as you see me doing, I'm going to match up the seams together like this, and I'm going to hold it with a pin. So remember that the front and the back half length is not always equal. So right now at the zip area, I'm going to subtract ½ inch. So I'm subtracting ½ inch instead of 1 inch because the down part is going to be a flare, not a straight skirt. So you can see what I'm doing. So I'm just going to make a slant line like this towards the side seam. Then I'll cut it off. So this will prevent any bulginess at that zipper area. So I'm also going to notch the middle of the center front. Go ahead and open up the zip area. So it's time for us to attach the flare to the top part. So I've gone ahead to make my gather stitch at the top. So you can see I'm going to pull the threads now to give me the gather effect. So guys, after pulling, and this is what I have, so I'm going to place them right side facing each other, and I will indicate the midpoint which I made a notch at the flare area. So I'm going to indicate the midpoint and align them together, and I will just keep on arranging the flare to make sure that it's all matches up with the top part, and go ahead and stitch it down. So I'm also going to do this part like this, going to arrange it and stitch it down. So after I might have stitched it down, the next thing I will do is I will go ahead and attach my taffeta. So I'm going to attach my taffeta. So on the taffeta, I've also indicated the midpoint. I will just align all the midpoint together. As you see me doing, I will just go ahead and stitch them down together. So guys, after stitching them down, this is what it gave me. You can see what I have. The dress is already coming out beautiful. So this is the zip area. You can see what we have. So I'm going to turn it to the wrong side and look at what the wrong side is looking like. So right now I'm just going to turn it out like this again, making sure that the rough edges is out. So taking it to the zip area, I'm going to be stitching down the taffeta and the main fabric together like this at the zip area. So when stitching down, make sure you push in the top part so that you will not stitch it together with them. So after stitching, guys, this is what it's looking like. You can see. So it's time to turn it to the right side. As you can see what the zip area is looking like, all clean and looking neat. So you can see how this is already beautiful. So it's time for us to attach the Tule net. So like I said, I've gathered it up and this is what I have. So I always advise you start from the midpoint of the flare. So then go up by 1 inch from the hem of the flare as you see me marking like this. On this line is where I'm going to be attaching the Tule net. So just go ahead and attach it like this. I started from the midpoint of the flare. So I'm just going to be attaching it all the way like this, leaving ½ inch at the top of the Tule net before I stitch it down. So it up to this way. So I'm also going to do the same thing from the middle. I'll be taking it all the way to this other part. Guys, you can see what we have right here. I've gone ahead to stitch up the Tule nets, and this is what it's looking like. You can see. So as you can see, my Tule net is not really full enough because I've used from the length of the Tule net to sew a dress before. So that is why it was not actually full enough. So from the waist area, I came down by 6 inches. So that is where the zipper is going to stop. This is the way I'm going to place the zipper, leaving the excess at the top area. So from that point I made, I'm going to be stitching it all the way down to the Tule net like this. And I'll go ahead and hem the rough edges. So guys, Look at what the zipper is looking like now. You can see what we have at this part. You can see that the waistline is actually aligned together. You can see what the V neckline is looking like. I've gone ahead to sew down my trimmings. I've also stitched down my sleeve. So guys, this is all for this tutorial, and you can see this bow tie. So this tutorial is majorly focused on how to attach your tulle net on your flare. So guys, I made 2 of these dress, and as you can see how beautiful they are. So thank you very much. Thank you for sticking by. Don't forget to subscribe, like and share. See you in my next video. Bye.
In the pool, talk to you, dripping wet. Nervous when I speak, so I trip on my